so many occasions. Some of them, they will put their iman down. Some of them, they will pump their iman up. And Allah Azza wa Jal, when He created us weak. We are vulnerable. And that is why Allah Azza wa Jal, He created for us times, places, and people which will bring our weakness to strength and will increase us in iman and taqwa. So these are called the filling stations of taqwa, and we need them. We started with Ramadan, then after that the 6 days of Shawwal, then after that the month of Dhul Qa'dah, one of the sacred months, and now coming to the sacred months of Dhul Hijjah, the best 10 days in the sight of Allah. So many people, when it comes to the last 10 nights of Ramadan, MashaAllah, they come to the ibadah, they come to the masajid, they come to the dhikr of Allah, but they don't know, unfortunately most of them, that the first 10 days of the Hijjah, which we have already started, that is to be the best of the days in the sight of Allah, better than the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Only a few scholars who had said that the deeds that you do during the nights of the last 10 nights of Ramadan are more rewardable in the sight of Allah than the deeds which are done and performed in the nights in the first 10 days of the Hijjah, because of Laylatul Qadr. But Laylatul Qadr, this is not a match for Eid al-Adha. أعظم الأيام عند الله, best of the days in the sight of Allah. Yawmun Nahr, the day that you call it the day of Qurbani, the day of sacrificial, the best of the days in the sight of Allah. And these days, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, ما من أيام العمل الصالح فيها أحب إلى الله من هذه الأيام. There is no other days upon which righteous deeds are performed and more rewardable than those which are performed on those days, meaning the first 10 days of Hijjah. قالوا يا رسول الله, this is Messenger of Allah, ولا الجهاد في سبيل الله, even they are better than fighting for the sake of Allah, because they know for a fact that al-jihad is a result of a person who's dedicated to his ibadah so much that he will be willing to put himself and his wealth in danger for the sake of Allah. And that's the ultimate, that's the hump of the camel. He said, وَلَا الْجِهَادُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, not even fighting in the way of Allah, except for a man who goes to the jihad with his self and his wealth, and he returns with nothing. That means he loses both of them. Ibadallah, those are the days where the Prophet of Allah encouraged us to make the takbir and the tahleel. So Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar kabira, Allahu Akbar kabira, Allahu Akbar wa ajal, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. This is the food of your heart. When you're hungry, you eat, and when you're thirsty, you drink, and you are for the lust, you go and get married. But when your heart is weak, you go to the dhikr of Allah. ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب. Verily, by the remembrance of Allah, the hearts will settle and calm. The one who's got the heart filled with the dhikr of Allah is a live heart. And the one whom his heart is filled with everything apart from the dhikr of Allah, filled with grudge and hatred, envy, how to make the people preoccupied by gossiping, he is a dead heart. So the heart which is full of dhikr of Allah, we started already, ya ibadallah. The first 10 days of the Hijjah, already we have started. We had 2 nights already passed. A day had been passed of dhikr of Allah. Do not lose this opportunity. And make sure that you do as much as you can fasting, as much as you can giving charity. Don't count, just give for the sake of Allah. Masjid, charity, poor person, give. Don't say, oh, I gave £5, let me register it. No, Give. Just like you've been giving Ramadan. Give for the sake of Allah. Also, recitation of the Quran. And the best of the deeds that the person can perform during these days, no doubt about it, is the Hajj. The Hajj is the one that will give you the absolute biggest reward. Sin forgiving. As we're going to see from the hadith, I'm going to narrate inshallah in my second part of my khutbah. Ibadallah, these are the days that we are encouraged by the companions, Abdullah ibn Umar, Abu Hurairah, to make takbir. They came out in Mina making takbir. وَكَانَ السُّوقُ يُكَبِّرُ بِتَكْبِيرِهِمَا. And the market, whole of the people, they used to straight away respond to this takbir by making takbir. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. Ibadallah, for verily, for every household, and the one who's in charge of his household, and he is having the means financially, it's incumbent upon him to make a sacrificial, an udhiyah, على كل أهل بيت ذا ساعة أضحية في كل عام. He who does not sacrifice, Prophet of Allah, he said, فَلَا يَقْرَبَنَّ مُصَلَّانَا. Let him not approach our musalla for Salat al-Eid. So it's incumbent upon you to sacrifice. And if it is the case, then the Prophet of Allah, he said, مَنْ كَانَتْ لَهُ أُضْحِيَةٌ فَلْيُمْسِكْ. He who has an udhiyah to slaughter, then let him abstain from cutting the nails, cutting the hair from anywhere, whether it's on the arms or in the mustache or between the legs. You're not allowed to cut the hair, or peeling off the skin. Even to peel off the skin is not allowed. From the moment we sight the moon of Dhul Hijjah 2 nights ago until your udhiyah is slaughtered, and it is haram for you to cut one of those. But if you've done out of forgetfulness, out of ignorance, no problem. If you have done because your udhiyah was not compulsory until today, because you did not have the financial, don't worry, start from today. And if you did it deliberately, you are sinned. But your udhiyah is accepted. Ibadallah, these are some of the etiquettes that we need to learn about the udhiyah. Now, I know that some of the udhiyah these days is very cheap. And even if you send it to Uganda, it's 38 pounds. But I would urge, just like I urge myself, the brothers and the sisters who are in charge, that to make udhiyah in their country here, for them to witness this sha'irah, symbol from the symbols of Islam, and that is the udhiyah. أقول قولي هذا